Thank you for joining me today. The American Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals estimates that there are currently 10 million puppy mills operating within the United States. This statistic is in sharp contrast to the fact that every year 3.4 million unwanted pets are euthanized in area shelters. I implore individuals considering adopting a dog to adopt a dog from a shelter as opposed to adopting a dog from a breeder. This effort will help reduce the amount of animals that are forced to live in inhumane conditions in puppy mills. I have researched the treatment of animals in puppy mills. I have researched programs available at area shelters, and I recently adopted a shelter dog. I'm going to begin by explaining to you what a puppy mill is. I'm going to go on to share with you some of the programs available in shelters that will help families find a pet that matches them. And finally, I'm going to share with you some of the many benefits over adopting a shelter dog as opposed to buying a purebred dog. First of all, what is a puppy mill? A puppy mill is a large-scale operation that breeds dogs for profit. In order to maximize their profit, these breeders give little or no concern to the health and well-being of the animals. They are able to claim that they are USDA certified breeders, but they operate with little oversight. In order to obtain certification, one of the only requirements is that the animal be kept in a cage only 6 inches larger than the dog itself. This dog can live in the cage its entire life, and these cages can be stacked one on top of the other. I think most of us would consider this condition inhumane and intolerable. These animals are often overbred, and the conditions are deplorable. I have seen pictures, and I will not share those with you today because they are very upsetting. The overbreeding causes these poor puppies to have higher rates of congenital defects. They can have epilepsy, hip dysplasia, heart conditions. The unsanitary conditions lead these puppies to have things like parvovirus, intestinal parasites, and they will still sell these dogs to pet shops, and they'll sell them through online websites and through ads in the newspaper. So now that I have explained to you what a puppy mill is, I'm going to share with you some of the programs that are available at local shelters. Okay? So if you want a purebred dog, there's many purebred dogs available at shelters. Some of them will have a wait list, and you can say the kind of dog that you're interested in, and they will call you when one of those animals comes in so you can come and meet the animal. There are also rescue groups. Rescue groups will pull purebred animals from the shelter and place them in foster care, so that way these animals can begin some socialization and obedience training. There is also a program that is set up where you can adopt dogs that have failed out of classes like Leader Dogs for the Blind. So for one reason or another, these dogs did not pass this obedience training. Now, I went and I researched this, and I found that the wait list was so long that they had to actually close the wait list. This shows me that there is a need out there and a demand for people to adopt a dog that's already trained. Well, there's also a program for that. Many humane societies are partnering with prisons for obedience training programs. These programs are available in many states. The shelter dog will come to the prison for obedience training, and upon graduation of the obedience class, they will then be placed in the shelter back for adoption. Now, I'm going to introduce you to the inspiration for my story here. Haley! I'm going to introduce you to Haley. Here, this is Haley. She's our new dog. So this is Haley's story. Haley was found by police in a meth bust. They called the Humane Society, and she was fortunate enough to be placed in a no-kill shelter. She spent 6 months in that shelter. No one adopted her. She then was granted access and was able to be part of a prison training program. She moved to the prison for 10 weeks and completed extensive obedience training. And when she graduated, she was placed back in the shelter for adoption. A family brought her home. They only kept her for 3 weeks, and they decided they didn't want her, so they returned her. And then a week later, we brought her home. Now that I have shared with you programs that are available in shelters and also explained to you what a puppy mill, here's the benefits of adopting a shelter dog. By adopting dogs from shelters, it decreases the demand for purebred dogs from these breeders. If there is a decrease in profit, these breeders will be forced to close their doors, and that will lead to fewer animals suffering in these conditions. Another thing is that you're saving a life. Not only are you saving the life of the dog that you adopted, but by adopting that dog out of a shelter, another animal is then able to take its place instead of being euthanized. And I will tell you, since we have had Haley in our home, she has brought more love and joy to our home than we could ever imagine. So once again, I am going to say that for individuals considering adopting a dog, I implore you to consider adopting a dog from a shelter as opposed to purchasing a dog from a breeder. Thank you.